Alright, so welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are now in the ace match of this best of 3 series between MUFC and TongFu here in the Razer Mini Madness presented by Gosu. I'm Zyori. With me is Kawa. And we're bringing you guys the third and final game of the day here, mid-afternoon on the East Coast. Kawa, how you feeling about this series so far, my man?
I'm really excited. This is finally the best of 3 here, the third game, so it's not going to be at all just kind of like a stomp, or no, I wouldn't say a stomp, but just like a 2-0 like we were seeing before between Orange and Hero. So this is really cool, refreshing to see. I keep getting tripped up by the noises that these heroes are making in the banning phase, but you know what? Like we're going now. So already seeing Naga and Enchantress being taken off, so nothing really too out of the ordinary.
Yep. No, definitely not thus far, but it's been an interesting series so far because both wins have been pretty convincing. You know, they haven't really been really close games where it's like, yeah, okay, 50 minutes, who's going to win one epic team fight? It's like, no, the winning team kind of gets that early lead, hangs on to the momentum, and then they just have an unrelenting assault, and that's how the last 2 games have gone, of course, on opposing sides. So this ace match makes me a little bit curious. Finally, we're going to see that Darkseer ban come out, though, because he was in the last 2 games, much to our surprise.
Yeah, I was really surprised by it, but you know, now they're kind of starting to catch on like, oh, okay, we kind of need to stop doing this now. So looking like TongFu not really wanting to worry about that anymore. We see an Enchantress ban and then the Darkseer, Rubik, and the Chen. So Chen is not going to be in here once again for both of these teams. And finally the Leshrac, and I wish we could have seen Leshrac in here.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a Chen. I'm always a big fan of Chen in games like this. So we are going to get something similar, though. Nature's Prophet, going to be our first pick for TongFu. So feeling very confident in their Furion. He's definitely been a driving force in this series so far. So I can't say I'm too surprised to see TongFu first pick him.
Yeah, probably going to be seeing Awoke, sorry. I made the same mistake. Awoke. Going to be playing that Nature's Prophet, definitely. So he's going to be really comfortable with that. Going to be making it pretty difficult in the later portions of the game with those split pushes being as annoying as possible. And probably in the early portions of the game, going to be able to just zip around, try and get some of those sweet ganks early and looking for that early mechanism.
Yep, I definitely agree with you there. That seems to be the build that we've seen so far in this series, that fairly early mech. And it's worked pretty nicely. So I'm having trouble fathoming these 2 teams going head-to-head without that Darkseer. I know we already mentioned that a little bit, but I mean, what are they going to do in his stead? I mean, what are your thoughts here about some of the potential picks we may see from MUFC? And, oh, well, you might hold that thought here as Windrunner is going to be first picked, as well as Tidehunter. So there we go. Forget about that theory crafting. Talk about these 2 heroes. Tidehunter, I think you mentioned last game, was banned despite us not seeing him too much. This will be the first time we've seen a Tidehunter in quite some while.
Yeah, I'm really liking this. Tide probably one of my favorites, personal favorites, because I mean, you know, he's not extremely difficult to play. He just kind of walks in and just like unleash the ravage, and then everyone just gets stunned for long periods of time. So just having a really good support there from him, going to be really nice early on in those team fights. It's going to require a little bit of finesse, though. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him going in like somewhat of a tri-lane, or possibly in solo top, but I think Windrunner is going to be fulfilling that role, honestly.
Yep.
To be completely honest with you, depending on whether or not MUFC is going to pick up a middle hero, it's kind of going to depend. But yeah, I'm really glad to see a Tidehunter in here. Probably going to be seeing Net play on him. Very comfortable playing that Tidehunter. So we see the Queen of Pain and Morphling next.
Yeah. So really nothing too crazy from there. Morphling going to be picked up yet again. I'm sure going to be played by How.
Oh yeah, seriously, How so comfortable playing Morphling, and like I said before, like what is he going to be going for first? It's going to depend on the carry that MUFC may be trying to pick up here in the next portions of the draft. Got to be aware of that.
Definitely. And again, you know, we talked about this in games 1 and 2 about the lack of attention towards Lycan. And it just makes me wonder, I mean, is this just a different in meta games, as we are, you know, obviously these are Asian teams. It still boggles my mind. I mean, a strong hero is a strong hero, right? Lycan is just, I'm still just shocked. Venomancer are going to be that last pick, though.
Yeah, and that's going to be very, very solid for them. Just in case Nature's Prophet tries to do something funny, those wards going to be
Radiant
able to
team
do
ban.
quell off those pushes fairly early. Very, very nice to have at your disposal. We're going to be seeing the Lone Druid band right here. So, and actually, the Lone Druid. Now that we mentioned it before, I think who was it in chat that was talking about it? Hobo.
Dire team
Hobo
ban.
Suite or Hobo Suit, something like that on Reddit was commenting about
Yes.
our Lone Druid talk.
Yeah, and
Radiant team
I
ban.
made a mistake, and it actually does work as a blink dagger. I
Ah,
double
okay.
checked.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We've redeemed ourselves. Okay, so you can't recall him. What is it? It's probably like 3 seconds, or I guess 4 seconds if it's exactly like blink. But the caveat is you can resummon him if you choose. So that's sort of a workaround, however you want to coin it. But that's good. I'm glad you actually checked up on that because I was
Yeah, bit of
dangling
an
somewhere in the middle,
oversight. Yeah,
filling my head
my
with all
bad.
sorts of naughty things, like
Naughty things.
Lone Druid. It's bad enough that I called him Wild Soul once in one of the earlier games here. We don't need to confuse his return as well. Oh my. So anyway, let's check out these last bans here. We're going to see Shadow Shaman and Sand King for MUFC, and Templar Assassin to complement that Lone Druid ban. It's an interesting ban here in this second set.
That's actually Shadow Demon.
Or,
Shadow Demon.
No, Shadow Shaman was banned. Shadow Shaman was banned. Shadow Demon was picked.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the bands. My
Yes,
bad.
yes,
Okay. I thought you were talking about the draft. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
No.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman, really, really a great side lane here for those pushes. Going to be able to take down towers extremely early and be able to protect any kind of carry that TongFu is going to be wanting to try and pick up. Obviously, going to be the Morphling. So not wanting them to go crazy with that, just going to ban him outright. And the Shadow Demon going to be really, really solid as a support. Try to set up some of those early kills onto MUFC. And I'm really going to be wanting to see what MUFC is going to be trying to pick up here as kind of like more of their carry lineup. So far, they've got the sweet defensive support of Venomancer. You've got the Tide going to be able to help out a lot, just in case they try and pick up a tri-lane. You've got Queen of Pain going to be most likely heading into the middle lane, trying to deal with whoever's going to be heading there. But really, what is MUFC going to throw out here? And it's going to be Night Stalker.
Dire team
Wow, now that is an interesting pick. I have not seen Night Stalker in a competitive game.
Okay, so Night Stalker here.
Ooh.
He's going to be what you call a mid-game carry. He's going to only be useful probably up until around, I would say, the periphery of the 35-minute mark. He needs to make things happen extremely early, otherwise he starts to plateau and then kind of fall off in effectiveness. So he's really going to be looking for those early kills very, very early, and that's going to show, their strategy over to
5
TongFu. So
seconds
TongFu going to really have to try and prepare for that.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Reserve time.
And it's going to be interesting. I know there's a couple different builds you can do with Night Stalker as far as which is the first night where you really go out and start hunting. Is it the first night and you try to get that early edge, or do you sit back and farm to the first night and then on that second night it's just like, whoa, who's that guy all of a sudden that's destroying our team? I'm excited.
Yeah, that's the cool thing with Night Stalker. A lot of what a lot of teams will do is they actually kind of wait until the very, very last few minutes of the nighttime phase in order to kind of go around ganking, or they wait for the second night. Really, I think what we may see, it's kind of going to depend on their preference. Farming up, trying to get the urn, the treads, trying to get those early items to just ensure some easier kills are probably what MUFC is going to be looking for here. So really, really interesting that they're going to be going for this. I believe the person who's going to be picking them up is going to be Nick. I think Nick is going to be really comfortable trying to play that Night Stalker for this game.
And pardon me here, is Brewmaster going to be picked up yet again? So it looks like TongFu doing a strikingly similar lineup here. There's what we saw in that last game. Morphling and Brewmaster are returning friends, and I don't remember if they had Queen of Pain on their team. She was in the game, but I think they did.
The prior game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've had those three heroes in the last match, and of course they did win game number 2. So perhaps this roster will work. And we were both a little bit skeptical about the Morphling Brewmaster combo because they both require so much farm to be super effective. But they were able to pull it off. We'll see if they can do it again here. MUFC with about 20 seconds of reserve time, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with this last pick.
Yeah, with Night Stalker, it's going to be a lot harder now for Morphling and Brewmaster to try and safely farm the way they would like to, especially after the last game. I mean, they didn't really have too much momentum
Oh.
from MUFC to try and deal with it. But honestly, this is going to be a bit of a different story now that Night Stalker is on the field. Looks like Nick is going to be playing him, and the Death Prophet is the final draft here for MUFC.
Yeah, interesting choice. What do you make of the Death Prophet pick?
Death Prophet's probably going to be heading into the middle lane to deal with the Queen of Pain. She's really, really strong at pushing in those towers early with the Exorcism. Going to be really nice also for those silences, just in case San Shen's going to be trying to set some awesome kills up with his ultimate. That silence going to be very, very imperative to kind of toggle off in those team fights that will be inevitably happening. I would hope early on for MUFC.
Yeah, definitely. So looking at these rosters, I mean, do you think one side kind of outpicked the other, or are we feeling pretty even here?
It's hard to say because both teams kind of favor a different point in the game to try and peak and be effective, and that's going to be MUFC looking for the earlier kills. If they're going to be able to get those early ganks off with Night Stalker, pick up a little bit of extra momentum, it's going to be a great game for them. But if the first night fails, second night fails, if things don't go according to plan and the Morphling or the Brewmaster pick up the farm, even the Nature's Prophet, actually, it's just going to be looking fairly bleak for MUFC. So it's kind of going to depend how the first couple of nights are going to go.
Yep. Definitely right, and I think you hit the nail on the head where MUFC is going to have this team where they might be able to get out of control a little bit faster, but they need to end this game before Morphling and Brewmaster just straight out carry them at that point. Let's go ahead and take a look at these rosters on the MUFC side of things. We do have Net on Venomancer, we've got Ling on the Tidehunter, Nick going to be playing that Night Stalker, as we already pointed out, Sharky on the Death Prophet in the mid lane. Up in the top, we're going to have WWK doing that Suicide Lane with Windrunner.
We already have a ward here to prevent the pulls inside of the Radiant jungle right now, so that's going to be very, very nice and safe here for the bottom Suicide Lane, which is looking like it's going to be an offensive one. If it's going to... Wait a minute, what is going on? Yeah, this is weird to have the Morphling and the Brewmaster in the same lane with Kabu to support, so I think they're actually going to shuffle that around a little bit.
Hopefully, probably.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the roster here of TongFu, though. We do have San Shen playing the Brewmaster. Hao going to be on that Morphling for the third time in this best-of-3 series. Going to have Kabu on the Shadow Demon now. Mu going to be playing Queen of Pain in the mid lane, going heads up against Sharky on the Death Prophet. Then up in the top lane, we're going to have Awoke on that Nature's Prophet. Going to be going toe-to-toe with Ms. It was Miss Windrunner, but now it is going to be Mr. Tidehunter.
Yeah, and on MUFC, we see Ling here on Tide. And Sharky, you just mentioned, going to be playing that Death Prophet inside the bottom lane. A lot of action already happening. It looks like WWK getting picked off with a disruption. Just a couple of right clicks going on.
And Morphling. Oh, he's going to go forward the waveform. And yeah, there it is, Windrunner. Going to be able to Windrun back to safety. Now Hal may be in a little bit of trouble. Venomancer chipping away. He does have another Gale coming up in a few seconds. Nick down here as well. He's going to drop that Sun. San Shen may be in big trouble, though. If he gets first blooded here, this could be bad news. Bears down he goes. First blood going to be drawn by that Venomancer. They're going to keep going. Hal going to take some pressure. He does have a waveform up, though, so I think he's going to be just fine. And wow, that strange, aggressive tri-lane with the two carries off to a rough start as Brewmaster gets taken down.
Yeah, I'm interested in how this is going to work out for TongFu. I'm really confused as to why San Shen is going to be paired up with Hao and Kabu. But, I mean, maybe it's going to work out for them. Obviously, it's not so far. MUFC was able to pick them off. But, really, it's going to kind of depend how the next couple minutes are going to go. Already, looks like Night Stalker getting quite a bit of... I wouldn't say quite a bit of farm, but a bit of assist gold. A little bit of help from WWK and Net. And I actually forgot to mention, yeah, Nick is going to be playing that Night Stalker. And finally, Net on the Venomancer. There we go. Finally introducing the teams 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, well, they did start off a little extra aggressive here. But it is going to be a try-on-try. No big surprise there. Let's take a look at the mid lane. Just take a look at the farms here. We see Death Prophet actually leading the way 10-2 against the 7-3 Queen of Pain, a fairly break-even lane. The interesting is the long lane up here, or at least long lane for the Radiant, as we see Tidehunter actually struggling a little bit. Well, I shouldn't say struggling against Prophet, but 4-0 against 7-1, so Prophet's starting to pull ahead a little bit.
Yeah, and he's doing a lot of damage right now to Tidehunter, forcing him to already use a salve here. And what I thought was going to be a suicide lane windrunner is just completely opposite. Looks like Ling did decide to go up top solo, and that's going to be a little bit troublesome dealing with the Prophet. And by the way, Awoke is going to be able to immediately TP down there and just make it a 4v3 at any point when he wants to. So that's going to be something to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's one of the reasons why Furion is banned so often, and of course why he was first picked here, because as we saw in earlier games in the series as well, that mobility is one of many tools that just makes him so deadly. Any team fight that's even or you're at a deficit, he just pops in out of nowhere, takes a few seconds to channel, and all of a sudden, oh wow, we've got the numbers advantage. And you're exactly right, that's a good thing to point out, and something that MUFC is constantly going to have to keep on the back of their minds. Night Stalker, though, now sitting 9-1 in creep kills. He's starting to farm pretty nicely. He's all tied up with Mr. Morphling, and it seems this Night Stalker is going to be a force to be reckoned with as this game continues.
Yeah, I really hope that this tri-lane is going to work out for him, though, because already, like I said, the little bit of an advantage for them right now, going to look like Hao's going to try and play a little bit more defensive.
So what's the advantage, though, to doing a tri-lane where you have both Morphling and Brewmaster in the same lane? I mean, we talked about how both of them really need farm to be super effective, and so far we've seen Brewmaster is able to pick up a pretty quick Blink Dagger in this series, and that's allowed him to play that kind of driving role. Here, he's not going to be able to do that. What's the advantage to the tri-lane that they're doing here?
It's hard to say, because I wouldn't know where the advantage would be, honestly. They're kind of splitting up the experience. We're not going to be seeing Brewmaster get any kills at all. He's 0-0, so that kind of renders him not effective at all. Yeah, it's like I don't normally see that. That's something that happens too often at all. So San Shen here, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he like shifted up in the top lane or something when Awoke goes into the jungle, try to get some ganks up. I mean, I think that would be the best form of action for him. I mean, they were hoping to get a couple of early kills here with that thunderclap and everything, but it just kind of did not happen in their favor. I mean, maybe they're going to be able to do so with the Shadow Demon disruption and then the thunderclap to follow up afterwards. That's going to be a pretty nice combo. I think that's what they're trying to work with and synergize, but it's just kind of not working out because, you know, the nuke damage of MUFC is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they have pretty solid potential as well, but yeah, I think you're right. That's what they were going for, unfortunately. Night Stalker being the primary recipient. He's pretty tanky. He is going to get initiated on, though. Let's see if their combo is going to be enough damage. It looks like it is going to be enough to take out Night Stalker, so just as we're talking about this, we're going to see them start to pull ahead here, and it looks like Net may fall. Oh, he is just barely going to be able to survive. One more auto attack going to be enough to finish him off, and they're going to keep chasing him down. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive this. Even the creeps are on him. And actually, the creep going to finish him off there. So Net is going to fall. It's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange. And you know, very skeptical about this lane. But there you go. That's going to at least help out Brewmaster a little bit. If we take a look at the GPMs here, he's sitting at 120, Morphling around 240 or so. All the while, Mr. Night Stalker down to about 230. So I guess it's working for now, but they're going to have to keep up these kills if they want this tri-lane to work.
Definitely. And we have an 0-1 now for Nick. He's going to try and get that farm up. So honestly, now that this tri-lane's kind of starting to build up momentum, I do believe that Night Stalker is going to be staying here in lane just for a little bit a little longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing about nighttime is it will help him farm a little bit faster. So that is one thing to note as well. As you were mentioning, one of the reasons, part of one of the reasons why they sit back and tend to wait for those last few minutes.
Top lane.
And oh, yeah, exactly right up in the top lane. Awoke going to be in big trouble as Net did port up there. And pretty easy gank. Tidehunter hitting level 6. Of course, the powerful Ravage ability making that kill possible.
Yeah, he just completely used it there, didn't even care, and it just ensured that kill. Very, very nice here for MUFC inside the bottom lane. There's a couple of pings going on, a little bit of drawing, but looks like Night Stalker here about to pick up his treads, which is going to be really nice. He got the 1 level of the Crippling Fear, so we might be seeing him wander around within the next couple minutes, but like I said, because of that little disadvantage from the 1 death that he has right now, probably going to be a little bit delayed.
Yep. Exactly right. And, you know, when we're talking about switching up these lanes a little bit, there is going to come a point where this tri-lane for TongFu needs to be broken up. And the fact that Tidehunter is the suicide hero, I think Brewmaster actually could go toe-to-toe with him up in that top lane. Now it's going to be rough because he's level 3, Tide's level 6. But if they'd done that earlier on, I mean, Prophet easily could have just moved into the jungle at any time. So that does make you wonder a little bit, you know, why they stuck with this tri-lane for so long when they could have just made that simple lane adjustment.
I think it's because Awoke really wanted to get that quick mechanism so they can continue to push really quickly, and he already has the components, buckler, and headdress for it. So honestly, I mean, they kind of made a little bit of a sacrifice with the Brewmaster, obviously in levels and farm, but that is just going to allow Awoke to get that mechanism super early. I mean, seriously, man, he's going to get this within the next 2 or 3 minutes at this rate, and he's going to be able to push in with, I believe, the tri-lane at a particular timing, so that's going to be working out very, very nice for them.
Okay, I see. And then after that, maybe they're hoping that if he can get the mech fast enough, they can maybe take out a tower and then give Brewmaster some farming room, and he can make up kind of that deficit. And overall, it'll be a positive gain for the team, I suppose, and that very well could be their strategy. I mean, it's seeing as they were able to pick up some kills in lane, it may very well have worked. And the disruption going to go down here, and Windrunner going to be in big trouble. Yeah, she's going to fall. Brewmaster going to be one to pick up the kill. Kaboo going to be in some trouble here as well, but at what cost? Awoke going to port down, and it looks like they're going to be able to try and turn this around. Ling going to be in big trouble. Waveform should be coming up in just a second. Yeah, there it is, and I think Ling may be in a little bit of trouble. Sanchen going to come around from the back. Needs to be very careful. We can't forget that it is nighttime, and Nick is hitting damn hard. Sharky now going to port in. How going to waveform into Sharky, and it looks like they're finally going to settle on this Night Stalker. He's barely going to be able to survive. Going to be able to use that solve, and he may come up. Queen of Pain going to knock it off, and no, she's going to be able to scream, and he is going to fall if she connects with the scream. And, oh, she's going to get crowd control. Nope, not going to be enough. Brewmaster actually going to come in and finish him off. There's the Ravage for Tidehunter. Are they going to be able to turn this even further? Now Sanchen on the defensive, as is Hal. An extraordinarily chaotic team fight here. Disruption going to come out onto Sharky, and now Sharky may find himself between a rock and a hard place. Waveform to finish him off. Morphling going to pick up the kill. And is that just going to be a 2-for-1? There were a lot of kills coming out there. It looks like, yeah, that's going to be it. 2-for-1.
That was a beautiful Ravage from Ling, man. Oh my, and he was able to pick up the kill on Queen of Pain with just that little, oh my god. I really like that. That was so cool, just waiting patiently for all those heroes just to kind of clump around that one tree inside the Radiant Jungle. That was very, very sick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now he's sitting 3-0-0, so Tide is in pretty good shape at this point. And going to get the gold graph. It is strikingly even. It's been bouncing around back and forth, but we have one hell of an even match on our hands. A little bit different from games 1 and 2 in this series.
Yeah, but Nick right here, he's going to have to start to pick up the pace right now, especially after that last team fight. He was 0-2. He picked up 3 assists, which is very, very nice. A lot of people kind of take for granted the fact that the assist gold actually starts to clump up and do a lot for your heroes. So I think he's going to be wanting here within the next like minute or two, try and like at least make something happen. Maybe in, I honestly would say one of the weaker heroes is going to be that Shadow Demon, but obviously he is going to be always hanging out with one of his buddies. So I think that's going to be the one guaranteed kill that he's going to be able to try and pick up if he's going to get any.
Yep. Furion has now finished up his mech, so that was one of the things we were talking about. Maybe that's going to be their ticket to really get more aggressive and rotate these lanes around, and that's exactly what's happening here. We see Furion moving into the jungle as Brewmaster cycles up to the top lane, so props where props are due here, Mr. Kawa. You called that one spot on.
Oh, yeah. But he's getting targeted right now. Gale going to miss, unfortunately. There goes the Gush. He's going to be chased down here.
And he may be able to survive. Yeah, Port's going to come in, and I think MUFC may have overcommitted. We're going to see Venomancer get stuck in the trees. He's going to get finished off. Beautiful scream there from Queen. She's going to pick up that double kill, and it's going to be a 3-for-0 exchange. Beautiful defense, and keeping Sanchen alive. I thought he might be in a little bit of trouble, but alas, that mech doing some serious work.
That was great, too. Nice defense. Once again, TongFu just bringing it back up top. This is going to pretty much allow them to push in this tier 1 tower. We still... Oh, we just see level 6 right now for Brewmaster. So this is going to be really, really solid from them. That was a great ultimate from Mu. He's level 10 right now. I believe the most in the game, followed closely behind Death Prophet. So already looking very solid there. The bottom tier 1 tower has gone down for MUFC, and putting pressure on this top one is just going to make the advantage even more great for TongFu.
Yeah, absolutely right. Morphling able to take out that tower is huge, and just look how fast this lead is falling between the Treants and these 3 heroes. This is going to be hard to defend. They may be able to score or deny here. We see some more port coming in. Is there a Ravage up? There is. I think Sanchen is certainly going to fall here, and yeah, Ravage is going to be used. The tower is going to fall, though. It's not going to get denied. They're going to be able to pick up that kill onto Sanchen, and Awoke going to fall shortly after. Todd going to pick up the double kill. A 2-hero kill for Singleton and tower kill exchange there.
Oh yeah, in that kind of exchange, it's like, whoa, TongFu, I know you're like in the lead here, but you know, 2 heroes for 1 tower. I mean, that works out,
yeah.
But you know, you can play it a little bit safer, maybe come back to it, you know, again soon. I mean, we're going to be seeing some TPs here in like the next couple seconds to try and defend this tier 1, I would believe, I hope. But, you know, if this does go down, that's, you know, a little bit of a misstep from TongFu, unfortunately.
Yeah, they don't have a glyph, and it looks like, yeah, that is going to cost them the tower. Very unfortunate indeed. Perhaps they are just going to try and rationalize by pressuring this tier 1 in the mid lane. It's getting pretty low here. Mu going to have some illusions, and Awoke going to port in. Yeah, this tower's certainly going to fall. So they're going to sack it to get the tier 1 in the mid lane. Tier 1 for tier 1, kind of a break-even exchange.
Yeah, the trade, that would make sense then. Okay, I understand that there. So a little bit of pressure again onto Sangcheng up top. Gush goes up, but, you know, not really going to follow through with anything. Nothing too shabby, but at least Sangcheng now going to at least be able to farm. He's going for his drum first, I believe, since that bracer is up on him. So we're going to see how that goes here soon enough.
Yeah, and interestingly enough here, the Dai are pulling ahead 9-6 in hero kills now in the 14th minute, ahead by about 3,000 gold, though that experience gap is non-existent. They're very close there, so most of that gold gap really coming from the tower difference, 1 to 3 in tower kills. So MUFC here, well, not too far behind, but hopefully they can group up and pressure a few of these towers. They're going to have to worry about defending bottom, though, as that tier 2 is starting to get pressured a little bit, and Queen of Pain and Shadow Demon going to head back to friendly territory, sort of. Well, they're going to run through the jungle, but yeah, points the same.
Yeah, I want to like go back to like the reliable stuns one last time here because I kind of made the analysis a little bit too late in the last game. It looks like the only one that we have here for TongFu is going to be the oh wait, what's happening up in the middle?
The Death Prophet ult going to be used. Shen just going to move in here. He's just going to man up, pop that ultimate, and Prophet's going to come in. That'll be enough to finish off the kill. On to Death Prophet. Shadow Demon going to be able to pick up that kill. Now we're going to see Ling in trouble. Looks like he's going to fall. Queen of Pain coming in with a double damage rune. Not a hell of a lot he's going to do to be able to survive. Down he goes. Night Stalker's going to come in, though. He's going to be able to pick up a kill. On to Shadow Demon. He's now headed for the hills, and it is indeed nighttime. Thanks to that ultimate, he may be able to survive yet. Queen of Pain going to try and chase him down. It is now daytime. That double damage rune is still on for another couple seconds or so. Furion going to port down, and I think Nick is going to be in big trouble. He's going to move into the corner. Was looking for Deny, not going to find it. Queen of Pain going to go on a killing spree here as they pull ahead in that fight. 1 for 3.
Sangcheng also taking a little bit of damage here. Shadow Strike on to, oh, looks like Net trying to get away, but still that damage is going to continue to do a little bit too much, and that's going to be another kill from Mu.
Yeah, Mu is in great shape here. He's now picked up that double kill. He is dominating. He's going to blink up and port the hell out of there. He's going to make it back home, spend some of that freshly earned cash. Very nicely done. Dire now really starting to pull ahead, though. MUFC looking like they're further and further pressed up against the wall here as this Night Stalker still continues to be a little underwhelming, sitting 1, 3, and 5.
Seriously, and when your strategy for this particular game is to like just be as effective as you possibly can before like the 30-35 minute mark, it's not really working out for Nick here, and it's unfortunate because right now the team fight potential of TongFu is just absolutely absurd, and with that extra little XP boost that they have right now, we see a massive dip. 4,000 XP for them right now. XP per minute is also kind of in their advantage quite a bit. The Queen of Pain, the Furion in particular, but man, it's looking brutal there inside of the middle river. Looks like a Ravage going up right now onto Mu.
Oh, is Mu going to be able to survive this? He's silenced. No, he's going to go down. Night Stalker actually going to pick up that kill. It's a 1-for-1 at the moment, but Kabu going to fall shortly after a beautiful shackle shot, going to keep him in place. Yeah, and down he goes. You're going to see Sanchen go in, and Morphling going to follow in as well. There's the ultimate from Venomancer. Is Hao going to be able to do enough damage to make this possible? Furion coming in as well. This could be a misstep for TongFu, though. Night Stalker now going to pick up a triple kill. He's getting dangerously low, but he's gonna fall. Northling gonna be able to finish him off with that wave form. Venomancer gonna be able to port out. They don't have the damage, and it's gonna be a 2 for 3 as Furion ports up and finishes off that Wind Runner. So it was looking like a bit of a shaky fight for TongFu, but they were able to make it back. And I believe, was that a buyback from Queen of Pain? Yes, it was. So that was one of the factors helping to turn the tide in that fight.
It's looking like they're putting on a little bit of pressure inside the middle lane right now. They have wards pretty much around the middle portion of the map, but I think they're going to be playing it a little bit safe. Another ward actually going down into the Radiant jungle, so they're just kind of going to back it up a little bit. They have a little bit of time left on these wards, so they're going to kind of regroup, probably force the issue very, very soon here. Or honestly, within like the next couple minutes, we could be seeing a Roshan and then a follow-up into a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, definitely right. And just looking at the difference in ward coverage, the only ward for the Radiant right now is this one up here in the dire jungle, sort of near where that top lane tier 1 used to be on the other side of the trees. So ward coverage much in favor of TongFu right now, and that's going to give them a little bit of an edge with this map control, or at least will help them survive the ganking wrath of MUFC. I don't know, that triple kill though coming out for Night Stalker, is that enough to kind of get him back on track? You're looking at his inventory, he's just now picked up a vitality booster to complement his treads. He still feels like he's quite a bit behind.
Yeah, he's going for a Vanguard to try and be a little bit more tanky in the oncoming team fights that they are trying to press right now. A nice shackle onto Sangshan. He's not going to be able to... Is he going to be able to?
Oh, looks like he may. Beautifully done. He's going to get the ultimate off, and now Net's going to pay the ultimate price as he's in retreat mode. A beautiful turnaround. That disruption couldn't have been any better. Now Prophet going to be in some trouble. She's going to get disabled. Flops back down to the ground, and actually he might be able to survive, at least for now. That shackle shot from Windrunner doing a lot of work. Tidehunter coming in, looking to set up a Ravage, but it's not off cooldown for another 10 seconds. He is going to come in and finish off Morphling, though, and it looks like MUFC may be able to start turning this team fight. Tide going straight in. Oh, 2 seconds on that Ravage. He's probably going to be able to get it. And no, the disruption coming off in the nick of time. It couldn't have been much better than that. Ravage still up. He's going to blow it. It's going to catch these two. Might be able to pick up a kill onto a Woke. Is it going to be enough? No, he's going to sprout. He might be able to pour it out here. No, there's the gush to finish him. This Tidehunter, man. Oh, no. This Shadow Demon on the defensive. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive. Not enough mana for disruption. Yeah, and down he goes. So a bit of a whiff team fight there. MUFC going to come out ahead 2-4 in hero kills.
That was really, really clutch by MUFC, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was beautiful. The disruption there, though, on that time. I mean, it literally 1 second on that Ravage. Incredible time.
Seriously.
Incredible.
And Kaboo right there on Shadow Demon, like, what was happening right as that team fight was engaging, or initiating, I should say, he disrupted the Brewmaster so that he was able to live a little bit longer during that shackle to the tree so that he would be able to take up his ultimate and just start to kind of like go on to MUFC. But even still, even with that fact that he was able to live through that and Kaboo with such an awesome disruption, they just weren't able to win that team fight. I was really surprised there by MUFC, and they didn't even have to use the Ravage until the later portions of that. So just think, if they're able to coordinate a little bit better on MUFC with a Ravage, they could try and bring this back.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think one of the problems there was Morphling's positioning. He went in a little too balls to the wall, and when the team fight really commenced, Hal was kind of like, oh crap, I'm stuck, and Tide was able to finish him off. And I think that one of the tickets here for TongFu to keep winning these team fights is for Hal to be able to survive and continue being that damage dealer throughout these fights. So to see him picked off early on, bad news bears for TongFu, I think.
I would agree. He's going once again with that BKB, the BKB build on Morphling first, just so that he can live through all the crazy nukes from Night Stalker, from Death Prophet, from the stun, or the stun damage, I should say, from Tidehunter. So that's going to be very, very solid for him. A great pickup, and probably going to be transitioning into, I would say, a shotgun, honestly. I would say, not rush, obviously, because he is going for that BKB first. Yeah,
that seems to be what he's been picking up in most of these games. Eventually, like I said, not necessarily rushing it, but picking it up. I think last game the shotgun came out a little bit later, but still was very, very effective. Could be some tower exchanging here, though. See Morphling pressuring the tier 2 in the top, while most of the MUFC team pressures the tier 1 down here in the bottom lane. That Prophet ulti, man, doing some serious damage. The glyph going to be used on both sides, or on the dire side. Radiant glyph still up. But alas, the tower does fall. A port coming in. They're going to try and engage this. Prophet ult's still on. There's the Ravage, and Hal going to get focused down. Is he going to be able to survive? Nope, not going to be able to morph fast enough. There's the ultimate from Queen. It's going to connect with quite a few heroes, but it looks like Sharky's just doing too much damage. They're going to try and focus him down. The ult going to come off at just about the ideal time as they focus him. He's going to heal up and be able to survive for now, but it looks like he's going to fall. His team left him high and dry. Double tap going to come out in favor of Awoke. It's going to be a 1-for-2 somehow. I thought that engage was going to go so much better for MUFC.
Yeah, but unfortunately it did not. So much burst damage there is absolutely insane. Awoke's starting to pick up so much momentum because of that Hands of Midas, so he's going to be looking for, I would think, a Gosu here would probably be pretty standard. If he wants to go for that DPS, definitely would be looking at a Mjolnir or something ridiculous like that. So that will be happening in the very, very near future for Awoke. Nick right now kind of wandering around, just picked up that Vanguard, so that's going to be pretty solid for him. It's a little bit later than it should have been because honestly, in those early year team fights, he really could have used it, honestly. But, you know, still, at least he has it now. He's going to be trying to make something happen inside the bottom lane and already starting to target Sanction.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. I mean, a 22-minute Vanguard is definitely a lot later than he would have liked, and that's just going to limit his carry potential here. I mean, he's just so underfarmed. This Night Stalker is really not so scary. I'd be much more scared of Furion at this point than Night Stalker.
Yeah, with those 13 assists, 5 and 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
look at the
crazy.
assists. The only one in double digits, 5, 3, and 13. Third on kills, number 1 in assists. It's just incredible. I mean, so far, Awoke is just playing a fantastic game. It seems putting him in the top lane and sacrificing that farm of Brewmaster was the right choice, as Furion has certainly made good use of it.
Definitely. Yeah, and all the tier 1s continuously down. We definitely should be seeing, I think, a little more push here from TongFu, but obviously we see MUFC just trying to... I'm not thinking of the word right now, just kind of... I've already used the word quell, preventing them, I guess you could say. Preventing them from doing those pushes with some sick ravages. It's still on cooldown right now, and then you also have the Exorcism of Death Prophet. Just everything kind of working in their favor during this portion of the game.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that Death Prophet ultimate, the Exorcism just does so much, especially once you get that level 4 Witchcraft. It's scary. I mean, it's really scary how fast she can drop towers. And also in that fight, we saw the perfect timing for Sharky, that ultimate healing right as they started to focus him down.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been much more ideal. Unfortunately, he still wasn't able to survive. There's the smoke used by MUFC here. They're going to try to make something happen and venture around, but it doesn't look like they're going to be in prime position to pick up a kill, at least not quite yet. Pretty much everybody on TongFu is headed for the hills in way, way, way defensive positioning. So a nice effort, but unfortunately I don't think this will be a successful smoke gank for MUFC here, unless, they may venture their way into, oh, no, that's just an illusion.
That was a replicate,
yeah. Just a replicate, I was going to say. Almost getting lucky there, but yeah, dust's going to wear off in a couple of seconds. Noble effort from MUFC, though.
Yeah, I wish it would have followed through, but you know, they're aware of this. TongFu is not going to be fooled, unfortunately. Looks like Mu here is going to have to kind of back it up, though. She is now also aware of what could be going down. They do have vision of it right now with that little treant, so she's going to have to play very, very careful.
Yep, and Prophet Illusion going to come in here. He's going to need a little bit of sight, at least see that they're around the Roshan pit. There isn't too much vision here if we take a look at the site. Absolutely no vision for the Dire team around the Roshan pit. So they're going to be very cautious here. You see the pings coming down. Need to be very careful indeed. Ward coverage for the Radiant side, I guess slightly better, but really both teams kind of lacking in the ward department at the moment.
Yeah, and they're going to have to kind of emphasize that within the next minute or two here, especially since the Roshan is up. We're seeing both teams in a position to where they actually could probably take it after a really solid team fight. So gonna have to look for that very, very soon here. We have a pipe up for Lang. That's going to be so good, especially against all the crazy damage from Queen of Pain with her Scream and all that. And we see TongFu looking like they want to go for that Roche.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Very risky indeed. There isn't any vision here for the Radiant, but Night Stalker is, he's wise to something. He knows something's afoot. He can smell trouble, and they're going to try and make something happen. Furion going to summon a couple tree babies here to at least keep Roche busy while they back up. They need to be very careful. All the while, though, the tier 2 in the top lane does fall. So already this little exchange around the Roche pit is in favor of TongFu.
Yeah, they're going to have to position themselves extremely well, but this could really determine how the rest of the next couple minutes are going to go for both teams. They're kind of starting to counter ward here, but TongFu, they do have a little bit of an advantage, like you mentioned before. Just having the high ground is going to be pretty solid for them. And oh wow, the Plague War is just trying to give as much vision as possible. They're just kind of staring each other down now, and it's kind of like a waiting game.
Yeah, both sides just being so cautious, and rightfully so. The Roshan pit is hell in a handbasket if you get caught by a Ravage, followed up by all of that AoE from Prophet and Venomancer as well. That could be very scary. Brewmaster, though, going to be able to pick up that Blink Dagger. Really, a 26-minute Blink Dagger for Brewmaster isn't that bad. I mean, given the start that he had, he's got only 54 creep kills. I got no complaints with that. I would have thought that he would have had it much later than this, given how slow his start was.
Yeah, in the top lane right now, Awoke is just pushing down that tier 3, gonna actually force a couple of TPs, so very, very solid from his part right now, and it looks like not really much is gonna be happening around that Roshan pit. We could have seen something potentially, but, you know, the smoke to kind of reach around and go from behind on the high ground just wasn't going to work out for them. They were able to spot the smoke from that Morphling, the Morphling replicate, so not really going to be happening there. And still they're going to try and force the issue again. TongFu kind of trying to whittle down Roshan's health. They are going to be aware of it, though.
Yeah, this is really, really scary. And I do want to point out as well that Venomancer does have a gem, so they did just take out this ward up on the high ground, and that's going to give them a little bit of an edge here. Looks like they may go in.
Uh-oh.
And this could be really bad. It's going to be a little bit of a chaotic team fight. All the ult's going to come out, and Morphling going to be the one to pick up that first kill on the Windrunner. We see the Ravage has already been used. Awoke in big trouble. Looks like he's going to fall. He is a tanky beast, but just not tanky enough. Queen of Pain going to come in. That's going to be enough to finish off Prophet. Now Ling going to be in some trouble. He's taken a lot of damage here. The disruption so powerful. Finally, the ultimate from Venomancer comes out, but it feels like too little, too late. As TongFu starts coming out way ahead, Night Stalker gets finished off by the Morphling. That's going to end it as a 3-for-4 exchange. Venomancer the only one left alive as he pops smoke and kind of heads for the hills here. Roshan still alive with just about half health.
And funny enough, they're not really going to be able to take the Roshan now, even though it's a 4-3. Like, their health is so low right now, so they're going to have to just regroup once again. So it looks like no one is going to be able to pick up the Roshan for the next minute or two. I'm really surprised by that too. It looks like they were able... It's so close right now, even though there's a little bit of a favor for TongFu. We see Net right now kind of chasing him down with the Gale, just doing a little more damage to Sanction. I'm kind of confused as to what he's going for right. I think he's going for a Vanguard. It looks like a Vanguard, also a Drum. He's kind of mixing up the components right now, so gonna see how that pans out for him. I really thought a Blink... Wait, is that a Blink? Yeah, it is a Blink. My apologies. I had the wrong hero selected. So yeah, he just picked up the Vanguard. He has the Blink Dagger. Very, very solid pickup now, and he's probably going to go for that Agnum Scepter now.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, he's had Blink for a little while, but yeah, just picking up that Vanguard. I mean, it feels like a pretty even game, but looking at the gold chart as well, I mean, they're the Dire team here ahead by pretty good margin, about 7,500 or so XP in kind of the similar boat, so they've got a really solid lead set up for themselves. And what's also scary is we talked about earlier on in this game how TongFu is going to have that carry advantage with Morphling and Brewmaster. They're going to be scary in the late game. So right now this is kind of close to that time where MUFC is sort of peaking. So the fact that they're still not able to really pull ahead makes me a little bit nervous as this game continues to go on now as we just approach that 30-minute mark. And a little skirmishing around the Roshan pit could eventually lead to an engage here, as you see a lot of heroes clumped up around the mid.
Yeah, they're on the clock. MUFC is on the clock right now, and they're starting to... They are, like you said, starting to peak. They really need to make it happen, though. They need to win a team fight. They need to take out this Roche and just kind of go for a tier 2. But really, like... TongFu is not going to be letting that happen. Unfortunately, Net right now trying to get a little bit more of his health back. He took like a Nature's Prophet ult to the face, unfortunately. But it looks like, oh, TongFu on Roshan now.
Yep, they're going to pressure Roche, and we've got Windrunner in the base. Night Stalker is sort of inbound, though he's stuck in the jungle, and they actually are going to sacrifice this Roche right here. I don't think they're going to be able to pose a defense.
And they're using the illusions to defend, too, to just kind of distract them right now. And they're going to be able to pick it up easily with the Replicate and just the illusions of Queen of Pain. That's crazy.
That was so beautifully done. You see all those spots on the minimap and just non-stop morphs, and that's all it's going to take. Very, very... Or replicates, I guess. Or replications? I don't know. What's the noun for the Morphling ults? The replicants?
Yeah.
Regardless of, yeah, very nicely done. And the Aegis ended up in the inventory of Morphling, as no big surprise there. But that's going to make things that much harder here for MUFC, as things are already starting to look a little bit dark. As you were saying, they need to make something happen soon. They're running out of that valuable time while their heroes are still very powerful.
Yeah, we see the Agnum Scepter now up for Awoke. That's going to make that ultimate even more destructive. Just going to continue to use that globally across the map, clearing those creep camps, stealing all the gold from his buddies, and just honestly, like, it's... I really hope that Night Stalker here is going to be able to make something happen. He's trying to go for a BK... I would really think he'd try to go for a BKB here. He's got the Ogre Club.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, he could be going for the... Ag Scepter for the extra vision to make ganking a little bit easier. And honestly, when you pick up the Agnum Scepter, that's kind of like the, I wouldn't call it the all-in, but it's kind of like the make or break. Like, okay, I have the Agnum Scepter. If I cannot make kills happen now, it's just going to be over. Right now inside the middle, lots of aggression happening on Nick.
Yeah, he's going to fall. Queen of Pain going to be able to pick up the kill. Now Sharky going to get initiated on. He's got the BKB on, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep him alive. One more auto attack, maybe two. Nope, that's going to be all it takes. Double kill coming out for Queen of Pain. We're going to see Net poured out. They're finding that little niche in the trees, and yeah, Ling on the defensive. At the very least, this tier 2 is going to fall. If not, the tier 3 as well. That is not how you want to start off a team fight. Fortunately, Night Stalker, we're continuing to be underwhelming here now, 32 minutes in.
They're going to keep up the pressure, though. It is a 3v5, so it's looking like this tier 3 could definitely go down using the disruption on Hao right now. I'm going to be using those illusions to help out with this push. I don't know. We still have a Ravage available right now for Ling.
And he may try and wait for someone to pop up here. Only 10 seconds on that Night Stalker, so perhaps that's what he's going to try and wait for, seeing as the tower is going to survive. Not too much pressure from TongFu here, going to back up. Playing very cautiously here, so I imagine they'll go down, just finish off this tier 2 before they push in.
Yeah, and they know, man. They know, like, well, Night Stalker's becoming less and less useful, so, I mean, we can drag this out, man. We can just continue to, like, you know, poke and prod, not overcommit, and, you know, give them an advantage. So, really, completely aware of that fact. They're just going to go back to farming, get some of that extra gold. We have a Mjolnir here, or, sorry, the Maelstrom for Nature's Prophet is going to eventually become Mjolnir, of course. And then, yeah, honestly, they're just kind of going to wait. Play the waiting game.
Absolutely, and you're exactly right. There's just no incentive for TongFu to really be hyper-aggressive and take all that risk of trying to push uphill into the base when there's a Ravage up and a Tidehunter standing right there in your face. There's just no reason to do it. They know that the longer this game goes on, the more advantageous it's going to be for them. And I think also MUFC knows it as well. See four of them grouped up in the mid. They want to counter-push. They want to make something happen, and rightfully so. And we'll see what they can do. We're going to see Prophet probably use that ult here momentarily and really pressure this tower. We do see while this is going on, though, Prophet, or not Prophet, though, well, he is a Prophet, but Furion, the other Prophet, going to be pressuring in the top lane.
This is going to be good. As long as he continues up this pressure, all those Treants going to be able to clear these waves. They can still go for it, though, and lots of pinging going on. Are they going to force the TPs?
Yeah.
Ooh.
MUFC, they're just going to man up here after a little bit of hesitation. They're going to go for it. The Glyph going to get popped, and they might not be feeling so good about this decision. We see their tier 3 down in the top, or up in the top lane, getting dangerously low. Their Glyph going to be used, and this team fight is going to commence. A disruption going to be used on that Tidehunter. Kabu may actually fall here. He's going to overcommit. Down he goes as Tidehunter pops back out, so that's going to be a kill for Venomancer, but the damage has been done in this top lane. Furion going to take out the tower. The racks are now exposed, and he's just going to pressure it. Still no ports coming back. I think this might be a mistake here. Very easily, this melee racks could fall here for Furion. Still no ports. I'm absolutely shocked. There we go. Some ports coming in. Looking like too little too late, though. The weak Windrunner going to be the one to come back. At this point, Furion may be able to just take her out. And, oh, he's going to use the ultimate. That may be the end of Windrunner as we know her. She's going to be able to scoot forward at taking out that tree. So barely going to be able to survive, but it's a close call. Now Night Stalker doing a lot of damage. Prophet just going to pour it out, given that Night Stalker has no stun. He's going to be able to make it out. All the while in the mid lane, though, more action. Queen of Pain actually able to finish off Tidehunter.
Okay, now check this out. So during that fight, Sangshen was not even there inside of the middle. He was just hanging out inside the trees. He was giving MUFC a false sense of security to be able to kind of push in, overcommit, and he was just sitting in those trees there, and I swear to God, I was counting the seconds. It was like 20-something seconds he did not move. The moment that they were starting to, like, kind of lose their momentum, once they pushed into tier 2 and they moved their way back, immediately, blink, ultimate, and just completely, like, take them out. That was beautiful by Sangshen.
Unfortunately, I did miss a little bit. I was looking at the Furion in the bottom lane, but absolutely. And that would explain why I was thinking, like, wow, TongFu really not doing so well defending this. Poor Shadow Demon, but that would certainly explain it. And their counter push after picking up those kills is going to be very successful. Furion going to be able to clear out that top lane of racks that he had already pressured and poured out to safety while the rest of his team kind of serves as a distraction mid, but they're just going to back up. And this is just looking so bad for MUFC. I mean, I think they might have one all-in push left to try and make something happen, but after that it's just going to be rinse and repeat, and we'll see TongFu just keep doing what they do best with this very methodical play.
Yeah, we still don't even have some of those key core items here for Nick, unfortunately. He doesn't have a BKB or anything like that. An eggs, urn, like it's just not at his disposal right now at all. And that's kind of showing, especially now that we're at the 37-minute mark of the game, and looks like TongFu just kind of continuing to just prolong this game even more.
Yep, they're going to prolong a little bit longer, probably farm up that next round of items or so, and then perhaps that will be the time at which they push down. They take out that tier 2 tower in the bottom. We can check out the gold graph just for good measure here, about 1,700, 1,500 gold, or no, 15,000, pardon me, orders of magnitude, 15,000 gold here, and a similar case to the experience. So about what we would expect, 29 to 19, but a huge advantage for TongFu. Queen of Pain playing with fire in the mid lane here as she blinks to blinks defensively and is able to survive.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go for it once again inside the middle lane. This is it. This is the all-in here from MUFC. They are trying to go for it. Ping's going up rapidly here. Lane's pushed in by TongFu. How are they going to be going for this? There goes the TPs. Here comes the pipe, and the tier 3 now getting the exorcism. Are we going to be seeing how you're going to be able to defend? There goes a what? A Ravage onto Sangshen.
Yep, Sangshen and Kabu, they're both going to fall. Morphling going to come in, though. He's doing a hell of a lot of damage, as is Queen of Pain, and I don't think MUFC has what it takes, although it was a pretty solid initiation. They're just not going to be able to do that. Make it happen. Buybacks coming out, and yeah, it's going to look like a clean sweep when it's all said and done. Ultra kill coming out from Morphling. He is just tear-assing around Manhattan, and yeah, I think that may be the nail in the coffin here, Kawa.
I am
I've never heard that. Okay. I've never... Say that one more time. What was it?
It's kind of offensive. It's a quote from Men in Black.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh, my. So, yeah, but wow. What a play right there. That Ravage, I kind of missed that initiation. I was like, wait, was that a missed Ravage? And then I saw on the side where Sangshen and... the other guy that was with him were down there. I forget who it was. Kabu. Yeah, it was Kabu down there. So they got picked off right away, but I mean, just the instant buybacks, and this Morphling's just too stacked. There's just nothing they can do about it.
Yep, and here comes the barracks now in the bottom lane. Yep. Middle is already getting pushed in as well. It is looking like we're going to be seeing a GG here very close for MUFC.
Yeah, maybe one last team fight in the base, just kind of for kicks and giggles, as it is the ace match, but Rex gonna fall pretty quickly here. Are they gonna be able to make a stand? Woke gonna use that BKB, and they're just gonna be able to obliterate Nick. Yeah, that underfarmed the Night Stalker's still just kind of getting picked on. The ultimate from Queen gonna come out. Venomancer's gonna fall. Prophet gonna do a good bit of damage with this ultimate. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Ravage not up, and yeah, that Prophet's just going to get obliterated. Pretty much another clean sweep. The GGs come out from MUFC, and actually Moo survived that engage somehow with about 30 HP.
And there it is, using Force Staffs to just completely, like, take him out inside the farm. Great game by both of these teams, but it looks like TongFu is going to be taking this 2-1.
Yeah, so that will mean TongFu is going to make it to the semifinals here. Of course, this is an 8-team invitational here in the Razer Mini Madness presented by It's Gosu. So I think we have one more round of 8 match to go until we're totally done with a round of 8, and then the semifinals start. So plenty more Dota 2 coverage coming your way, guys. It was a hell of a series, our first series to go into an ace match, and as you pointed out at the beginning of the game, very refreshing to see.
Definitely, yeah. And that next match that we are going to be seeing, I believe it's eHome versus DK.
That sounds right. I believe that is the case. So
yeah,
eHome versus DK is what we can look forward to tomorrow. I believe starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time yet again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I really enjoy eHome, of course, coming second into the international. Really looking forward to see what they have to offer in this last little tournament that we've got before the international 2 that's going down. So yep, really looking forward to seeing what they offer.
Absolutely right. So thank you for joining us, guys. I'm Zyori. With me was Kawa. You can follow both of us on Twitter at ZyoriTV and at KawaCast, as you can see by the beautiful overlay here. Big shout out to Razer for making this entire event possible, and for keeping the esports wheels turning. So until tomorrow, guys, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. Plenty more Dota 2 action coming your way.